It's time for Maggie and the Moms, where we celebrate but never sugarcoat parenting. Joining us today is Mara Martin. She has a 3-year-old daughter. She is also a model who this month is gracing the cover of La Palm magazine, where she tells the story of the moment that she made national and international headlines when she walked the Sports Illustrated runway while breastfeeding. Yes, that was Mara. And you're going to stick around and share that story with us a little later. Thank you for that. Back with us, Sapna Doshi, who is mom goals big time, the mother of 3 tantrum-free triplets. She is also the founder of We Go Kids, which is a great resource for parents, wegokids.com. Welcome back, Sapna. Laura Byrne back as well, mother of 2 boys and the editor of Tampa Bay Parenting Magazine. This is the woman who's got her finger on the pulse of all things parenting, especially here in Tampa Bay. Ladies, let's get started with a topic that there are so many different opinions about. Disciplining your kids. How do you teach your kids a lesson? So there's this dad. He got a lot of comments on Reddit recently when he told the story of how he was sick of his son leaving his bike outside all the time instead of putting it away. So one day he wakes up on his way to work, sees the bike, takes it to teach the kid a lesson. Sure enough, the boy calls him, says, "Dad, my bike is missing." He's crying. "Have you seen my bike?" "Nope. This is why we tell you to put it away." So the kid suffers all day long thinking his bike had been stolen until the dad finally comes home with it at the end of the day. What do you think of the tactic, and how do you handle this kind of scenario, Mara? I know you have a little one, but what are your thoughts?
I'm in a little different stage because mine's a toddler, but I'm all for it, kind of. I think it's good to teach kids at an early age, responsibility, and especially at the age that he's at. He's going to be in school, later in school and stuff, and to teach them that things are valuable and, this is your possession and you need to take care of it. I think it's good.
The dad does say that he hasn't left the bike outside ever
again. I'm sure he won't do that again.
So it did work. Do you approach discipline that way, Sapna?
No, I have a very different approach to discipline. So I feel like the dad had an emotional reaction to his child's behavior. And so from a social emotional learning platform, it's kind of more separating the emotion that I feel as a parent when my child doesn't listen to me and really shifting into a mindset of what is it, how can I connect the dots or bridge the gap between what I'm saying and what they're understanding or how they're behaving. So really becoming self-aware of what is that behavior triggering in me that the child is doing, really settling into that emotion that I'm feeling, and then separating it from how am I now going to teach my child how to bridge that gap.
So social emotional learning teaches you to kind of take a step back and put yourself in the other person's shoes.
Yes, and through that process, you actually not only solve the bike problem, you also teach them critical learning skills that they can apply throughout their life.
Okay, what about you, Laura?
That's great advice, but I'm not the parenting expert.
Right, exactly.
But when I read that, it's definitely something that I've thought about doing even with my own children. My 8-year-old, for example, his violin at school, it was missing for several weeks. We didn't know where it went, and it turned out he had left it in one of the classrooms at school. But it's just kind of like, I definitely thought about doing what this dad did. Maybe I just need to take it away, let them think that it's gone, but haven't gone that far at this point yet because I think for that issue of, that trust issue between the parent and child.
Yeah.
But I think, the article also brought up an interesting point of just helping your children form habits too, of, just have to have a routine on how we do things and just the typical, they're going to misbehave in some ways, but when it comes to things like putting the bike away, or putting your clothes in the hamper, just try to develop those routines and habits.
All great advice. And I totally empathize with this dad, though, because that's the biggest challenge we have in my house, getting our kids to remember to do stuff without having to constantly remind them. So I appreciate your input on that. We want to get to the wheel, so let's go with spin number 1. And the first topic today is... it's a new one, Insta moms. Okay, so let me explain. I would like to feature Instagram moms who I admire because they're keeping it real, which is what we're all about. They make us laugh. They remind us that we all kind of go through the same thing. So the first one, we're going to focus the spotlight on Mama Jessie C and her very funny take on marriage. This is one of her posts. Behind every woman sighing is a man who has no idea what he did. Her next post. I did an impersonation of my husband and we laughed and laughed, and then he did an impersonation of me and we laughed and laughed and he slept on the couch. Yep, that's pretty much how it goes. If you have to tell your wife it was a joke, it's already too late. Godspeed. And last but not least, if it wasn't for me, my husband would have no idea what he said March 5th, 2010. Bravo, Jessie C is all of us, isn't she?
Yes, I feel like that was my spirit person. Yeah, I can relate to that on so many levels, especially right now. I was just this morning got in an argument. He asked me where the diapers were, and I'm like, we are in year 3 right now. The diapers are in the same exact spot they've been for 3 years. And, you know, and I'm like, how does he not remember this? Or why is he asking this? Or he asked me the other night, where are the pajamas? I'm like, in the top drawer, they always been. So I totally relate to this girl. I love it. I love, you know, I feel like it's pretty much we all go through it, right?
It's universal, right?
Yes.
Yes, it is equally the responsibility of both parents to know everything about the children.
Thank you very much. What do you think, Laura?
I laughed at the sighing one because my husband, even my mother-in-law, notices that I sigh a lot, but there's obviously a reason for that sigh, like, really? And I don't know, maybe husbands are kind of like toddlers. They just have selective hearing.
They are.
And they just don't remember. Maybe that's
My
what it
husband
is.
has learned over the years to ignore the sigh. Like he used to make the mistake of saying, "What's wrong?" And that never went well.
Yeah.
So now he'll like see the sigh or he'll see the look like me just looking at him like this when all he said to me is
Walk
good
away.
morning, and he'll know, we'll talk later.
Yeah.
you work yourself out and we'll talk later. All right, let's do another spin. Spin number 2. Oh, okay. This is a very good topic, mom hacks. We always learn a lot. So I asked the moms to be prepared with mom hacks, and Mara brought a show and tell.
I did.
So we're going to ask Rob, who's very familiar to our viewers here at Daytime, to
Hello.
bring in the toddler shoes because
Okay, so I'm in the stage of toddler. She's a 3-year-old, and it's hard enough, as anyone knows who has a toddler or a child, to get them out of the door, you know, ready to go.
Right.
So getting your feet on the right feet, left and right, is, you know, the challenge. So I have a little hack here where you actually draw, if you can see, if I'm in the right camera.
Yeah.
You draw a heart, so they know which foot is on each foot. So you combine them together to make the heart.
great.
And then you can also, too, for older kids or for, you know, if you don't want to draw on your shoes, you can also use a sticker and cut the sticker in half and then put them on each side. So when they combine the right feet, they make the symbol. So
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's really
Brilliant.
cute.
That's
She
a
loves it
good
too. 'Cause
one.
it's kind of like a little game for her too.
Yeah.
To, you know.
So good. What
Yeah.
about you,
I
Sapna?
love that one. For me, you know, we've all heard of meal planning, but really it is my most genuine mom hack. I print out a calendar for the month and make it the triplets' responsibility to pick lunch and dinner for every day for the month. And the only caveat is they can't pick one meal more than twice. So their buy-in to what we're having for lunch and dinner is already there
Yes.
because they picked it, makes grocery shopping easy and saves me a ton of time.
Bravo. Laura?
My hack is cauliflower. When you have a child who does not want to eat vegetables, it is the easiest vegetable because I think it's such a bland flavor to hide in different things. And I've put it in macaroni and cheese. I've mixed it up half turkey, like rice cauliflower with turkey, and mix it together and put it in tacos. They have no idea they're eating vegetables.
So good. I always love those. Okay, mine's a visual like yours, Mara. Okay, so I need you ladies to take your hands. With your left hand, make this sign, like an okay sign. It's a B.
Okay.
So if you're looking at it, it's a B, right? So the viewers, it may not seem like a B. All right, so B. With your right hand, do the same thing. So you have a B and a D. And that will help your kids tell, and all of us really who still struggle with this. When you're at a table in a restaurant, you're like, which one is my bread and which one is my drink? The bread is on the left,
that's so good.
the B, the drink is on the right. So I will see my kids at restaurants, and even my husband and me sometimes will be like in our lap going like this, like, okay, that's my bread, that's my drink.
Yep.
So,
Another trick too for left and right.
yeah,
When you're looking at it, L, left.
L left.
Which way's left?
Oh, that's a great one. That's wonderful. This is why I love Maggie and the moms.
Yes.
Thank you. You guys are wonderful.
Thank you.
And stay tuned. We'll be right back with more Daytime and Mara sharing her amazing story.